What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the travel tips series. Today we're going to cover a bit of flights and internal travel.
Yes, I think that's a good start for the series.
Yeah, that's it.
So we're going to go through a few different things today, but we're going to start off with the international flights from Melbourne to LA. Obviously you can go from any state in Australia, but Melbourne's where we live.
Well, any state, anywhere really.
Well, true.
Yeah, you can
but
take...
we're going to be talking about Australian Airlines, so...
We are, yeah. You can take pretty much most of this advice, as we said in our previous video, across all of your kind of travel plans, but we'll use the examples of Australia and America. Yeah.
So we've been to America 3 times now. We're aiming for our 4th trip this year. And we've flown with Virgin Australia twice and Qantas once. Now, we definitely preferred Qantas. There was just little things that were better. Things like their blankets were a better quality, their pillows were better, their food was better. You
had a little bit more room as well.
Yeah.
And I know, like, an extra inch doesn't seem like that crazy when you get talking about seats.
What a 14-hour flight.
14-hour flight. I'm 6'3", and that extra little bit of space is heaven. Yeah.
Now, we always fly economy because obviously we're not billionaires and we don't have the money for business class and first class, but Qantas seems to be amazing. They really look after you.
They do.
You can go to the middle or the back of the planes and there's snacks and, you know, drinks, and Virgin's the same, but just the way that Qantas presents it and the way that they, like what they give you to eat and stuff. I don't know, we just found them so much better. So this trip that we're going on again in August, fingers crossed, we're going to go with Qantas again because also they seem to be the cheapest. Our flights this year were, how much were they? Like 900 return or something?
Yeah, I think we paid 1,816
for the two of us. For
the two of us, return from Melbourne to LA, you know, return. Yeah. Which is crazy cheap.
Yeah, it's so cheap.
I mean, China Airways were doing more expensive than that. So for Qantas to do that was great.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just our opinion on the two airlines. We just prefer to go with Qantas. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong if you want to go China Airways or if you want to go on the others, but we just prefer those.
Yeah. I've definitely heard though from people that I speak to who have flown China Airways and stuff that they wish that they'd spent the extra money and gone the Australian Airlines. So
and when you're
I'm
talking
just
like
passing
$100,
that information along.
Yeah, that's not our opinion.
Yeah.
That's just what we've been told. And when it's like $50, $100, if you want to get that bit of extra comfort, you want the, you know, the meals, the snacks, the extra thick blanket, we think it's worth it. Yeah. When you can get the deal. I mean, if someone said to me, here's $900 Virgin, here's $1,300 Qantas, I'm going Virgin because, you know, that's money I can spend on my trip.
Yeah, yeah, so, definitely.
Take it as you will.
And I'm sure once this isolation period is over, the flights are going to be so cheap. So keep an eye out for things because, you know, Virgin and Qantas are probably going to release some pretty amazing deals, I'd say. Like,
well, let's hope they do.
So, yeah.
I mean, they could go one of two ways. They could go super expensive because they know everyone's going to book.
Exactly.
Or they could go super cheap. Let's all cross our fingers that it's going to be super cheap and we're going to get some sweet deals.
Definitely. Then when we get to America, to LA, the last time we went to America in 2018, we figured out a shuttle service. I'll pop the details below in this little clip here so you can see what it's called. And we just found them on Expedia, I think, didn't we?
I think we did.
Yeah. It's just a super shuttle service.
It is. It's one of the, I don't want to say the biggest because there could be bigger ones there, but when you land in LAX and you walk out to get a taxi, there are heaps of this shuttle service. You'll see it everywhere. It's a blue van and it's got a wing on the back, as in a white wing painted on the side of the van. You'll see them everywhere. And
just from our experience with taxis, Uber, everything, it worked out so much cheaper to get the shuttle. Yeah, especially, I mean, it depends on where you're staying, obviously, in LA, but we stay in Anaheim, which is a good hour out of, you know, hour from the airport. So, you know, in a taxi, it's like $100, and in Uber, it's obviously not as expensive, but the shuttle service, I think, was like $50 Australian, I think it was, something cheap like that, $50-$60. That's all it was.
It could have been a head, like $50 a head, but
I don't think it was. I actually think all up it was about, from some reason I'm thinking $63. I'm going to check that. But
that could be it. Brooke's really good with remembering figures, so she could be right. But the great thing is, you put in your flight details, your expected arrival time and so on. So if your flight gets delayed, they know. So if you've booked for, let's say, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon, because that's when you think you're going to get there through customs and so on, and your flight's delayed 6 hours, don't stress, because it's not just one van that are sitting there waiting for you. You'll jump in with some other people. It's like a carpooling kind of situation. You just go to their little desk, you show your reservation, and they chuck you in a van.
And then they chuck you right to your hotel. They chuck you in a van.
Yeah, they take you right to your hotel. Yeah. It's a little bit extra bit of a wait, but who cares? You save some money and you're organised.
And
you're
when
ready
you
to go.
haven't slept for at least 14 hours plus, you know, depending on how long it's been. I mean, if you're travelling from somewhere like Perth, you know, it's 30 hours of travelling. Like, so there's no way that you want to get in a car and drive. It's just, you don't have to think about it. You just get into the shuttle, they drop you to your door and you can dump your stuff and go to sleep.
That's
so easy. So we definitely recommend doing that. And like I said, you know, obviously check the details that we've popped below.
Yep, we'll put it in the video description so you can see all of that. Anything that we talk about here, we'll try and put as many links and as much information in the description as we can, so you can just follow that and go through.
Now, also with the international flights, you can have a look on the Virgin and Qantas websites, but we found the best deals that we've gotten over the last few times that we've gone is through Skyscanner, because it compares all the flights and obviously all the different prices. And Qantas was the one that came up cheapest when we were looking for this trip that we're going on this time. So that's another little tip. Always look on Skyscanner, because their flights just seem to be that bit cheaper, because I think they have different companies like Expedia, which is who we like to book our hotels through. They can obviously have the different deals, don't they? I think that's how it works. So that's another little tip to look on. I don't know if you've heard of Skyscanner, but definitely check that out for all flights, even when we fly domestically within Australia.
Yeah, absolutely.
We go through Skyscanner.
They're really good. And it's not one of those deals where, you know, you put your phone number in your email and then you've got all this cold calling, you know, because they've got your details. It's nothing like that. It's literally,
really good.
They just pull all the big airlines, all their information, and you can just grab it off of there, book your flight.
Yep. Now, with internal travel within America, obviously if we're not hiring a car and traveling state to state with driving, we fly. Obviously sometimes you have to, because you're going from one side of the country to the other. There's a few different options. We've obviously done all of them. This time we chose to go with, I think it was American Airlines or Delta or something like that, because they worked out to be cheaper. But with every airline in America, except for Southwest, you have to pay for your baggage when you get there. So you need to remember that. I think it's, what is it, like 25 US or 30 US dollars?
I think it's about that.
Yeah, per 50 pounds, which is about 23 kilos.
Yeah, and the hard thing is, if you've just traveled internationally, which normally you get 2 23 kilo bags for free, you've got 2 23 kilo bags. So then you've got to pay for 2, which I think it ends up being about between 60 and 80 US dollars each person. So, you know, you've got to add on another $160 to your flights. It may look cheap, but then when you add that on top, it can get expensive. Whereas Southwest, they
include your baggage.
Include your first
2 23 kilos.
Your first 2 23 kilo or 50 pound bags are included. So it's great. But funnily enough, we did actually book our internal flights for this trip with a different company because it turned out cheaper, even including the baggage. So
again, research.
Because
definitely.
if we had, there was one specific flight and we would have paid about $400 extra going with Southwest, which doesn't normally happen.
No.
But from research, we found we saved ourselves $400. It was crazy.
And we only have 2 internal flights with the trip. So we're going on this time. So we just went with the best option for us because there wasn't that many flights. But that's just a little bit of knowledge to pass along with flying within America. Your bags are generally not included in your flight price. So make sure you remember that.
Now, with internal flights, direct flights are more expensive. So you can play it up however you want. You can do a direct flight, which is sometimes more expensive, or research. Sometimes you can get it on a good price. But you've also got to think about, let's say, for example, you're there for 4 weeks and you're going to waste a whole day traveling because you're going to go from LA to Charlotte for 6 hours to Orlando. You know, I'm not saying they're the trips, I'm just giving you examples. But it can be a lot more expensive. So, time expensive, let's say that. So you can waste a lot of time. Whereas you could get on a flight at 9 AM, you can get to your destination by, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon. you've still got half a day. Whereas if you're going to do a stopover and you're going to get there at the end of the day, you've wasted a day of your trip.
But sometimes you have no choice because the direct flights are so much more expensive.
Yep.
I mean, we've sometimes got really good deals. You know, this time one of our flights is actually direct, which we were like bonus because it was so much more cheaper than the other options.
That's it. Yep.
But generally, you know, if you can avoid doing a stopover, it is a better option. And if you're gonna do a stopover, make sure you have a look at how much time you've got to stop over in between. Because some of our flights in the past, we haven't realized till we've booked it, there's only been a 50-minute stopover. Yep. And if your flight's delayed slightly, I think we've had one experience on a second trip, I think it was, where we had a flight delayed from New York to Chicago or something like that. And we had 20 minutes to get to our gate and we were running through the airport. And I don't know if any of you have been to Chicago airport, but it is massive.
And there was a lot of people there. It was crazy. It was crazy. So you got to be careful.
Make sure you research that because some of the airports as well will make you go back through security as well before you get onto your transfer. I don't know why they do that, but it must just be different policies. They don't all do it, but you've just got to make sure you have at least an hour to an hour and a half. Generally that seems to be enough.
Yep.
To get through. Yeah.
So as long as you've got that, you should be sweet. Yeah, it's definitely beneficial to do that research. As we say, research.
Definitely. And another thing that we've done as well, which we've only done once, was from Washington DC to New York. It's not me. We caught a train. So that's another option. I don't know a lot about the trains in America, if there's all different ones all over the country. I'm sure there is. But that was really cool actually, because it was about a 2.5, 3 hour trip from Washington into New York. And it just meant that you didn't have to go to an airport or drive.
It was so easy.
Yeah.
It's just like catching a normal train, which sounds obvious, but we thought because it's going to go between states, it's going to be, you know, all this extra stuff. No, you went in, you did your checks.
And it's way easier to do something like a train than drive into New York. There's no way I would ever drive into New York City.
Yeah, it's pretty full on. Like, you know, there's a lot of you out there that would be confident to do that, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you're not confident, then, you know, you don't want to get too far out of your comfort zone. Fair enough.
Plus the traffic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's enough to stop you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so those are our
flight internal travel tips.
Yep. I know we only just touched on car hire, but don't worry, we're going to do a car hire video, some tips on that, because we do hire a lot of cars when we're over there.
Yep.
So we're going to do a whole video on that one.
Yep.
So again, whatever you want to see, leave it in the comments.
And take or leave whatever information we're giving you. It's just our opinion and our experience during our own travels. We're just passing it along because it's been so helpful for us.
It has. Our first trip was very, very different to our third. And that's only 2 trips apart. And we've done a lot of traveling between those to different places as well. So yeah, it's just our opinion, but hopefully this has been helpful. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video.
See ya.
See you guys.